Okay, real quick, just want to cover two things briefly before just rolling tapes for you guys here. So, yes, this guy actually made $24,000 in 1 month at the peak of his 18-month career from DM setting. The remaining 7,000 from that screenshot was from him simply managing his team at the same time. The second thing is for those of you who would like to learn DM setting to that degree, or especially those of you starting out as well, in the high ticket space, he's feeling a bit generous. So, for the first handful of you who go out of your way to watch this episode from start to absolute finish, he's got some presents he's willing to hand out. That shouldn't be your incentive for watching this, by the way. You guys get to see us yapping at each other again. At the same time, lots of good insight is being shared around as well. This is genuinely part of our goal, which is producing content that we wish we saw before getting into the high ticket space. So without further ado, I'll leave it there. You guys have some fun and take care.
You don't have to hustle actively so much to make good money. Like for example, I'd rather work 2 hours a day and make 20 grand rather than work 12 hours a day and make 100 grand. Because there's one thing, I'm not sure who said that exactly. Like it's obvious when you think about it. Everybody wants to make 1 million a month, but not a lot of people want the responsibilities. For DM setting, rarely somebody gets hired when they didn't have an opportunity before. You have to play in the mud for a bit. Like you have to really play in the mud with the first offer, and you really have to outperform in it, even if it's a shit offer, and then leverage the numbers. Like for example, like even if you're not generating that much money, like really making sure that you generate a lot of sets for at least 3 to 4 months, and then later you can leverage that in your CV resume. Like, hey, I booked like 50, 60 meetings. However, the closing department was not on the same level, so I didn't close. And that already like gives you some leverage. Like you can already put your foot in the door. Personally, I would love to have somebody with great attitude, 10 out of 10, and like 2 out of 10 skill set, because the skill set can be trained, attitude cannot be trained. It takes me around 30 to 60 days to teach somebody how to set. And after that, it's just ramping up, and making sure that they're the best.
Do you teach some of the guys that you train, teach them to nurture the prospects as well, or?
Yeah, I would say like for closing, you have a lot of resources to train the people how to close, how to sell. There's not a lot of resources for setters. So a lot of people blame the setters as well, but you have to also ask a question: do the setters get the required help and support from the business owners to be good setters? Like, why are you so fucking tense on the setting on like doing setting or closing calls? Like majority of people are just staying on those calls like beep bop boop, this is the script, I'm gonna sell you now. And for example, like I had a situation like this recently. 3 people on the call, only one was speaking. And I just said to the guy in the middle of the call, like, dude, why are the other 2 people in here? Like, are they here to intimidate me, or like do they speak or something? Just joking around. Like it's gonna make the people laugh, and like they're gonna like you more, and it's gonna be like, okay, Sam is a nice guy, you can joke around with him, and they're just gonna open up more.
Man, I love your emphasis though on it's a conversation at the end of the day. And a
Yeah.
script is, I think it's an okay way to start if you haven't closed yet. But like every lead or prospect you're speaking with is a human being, and everybody's different. And I know, like, at least for me, when I'm getting sold to, I don't want to just feel like I'm going through a script with somebody or somebody's just going through a script with me. I want to actually feel like I'm being understood.
The reason why I'm a really big fan of frameworks is because you can mold your approach onto the framework. You can't mold your approach into the script. But one really important thing that I think I need to stress out when you're joining a closing program or a setting program and you're working a 9 to 5, please, for the sake of God, don't drop out your 9 to 5. Literally, just fucking like save your money, join the closing program or setting program. Just tell your business owner you're gonna work a bit less and learn closing setting in the meantime. And then when you are slowly making with closing or setting the same amount of money that you're making with your current job, consider dropping out. Like you guys know that I'm like one of the best sellers in the space. For me to make money, it took me 6 months. Like any money. I'm not saying fucking 2 grand, 3 grand. It took me 6 months to make like $500.
Yeah,
It
it was
is what it is.
kind of last minute.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
But boys, welcome to, is it episode 13?
No, it's
12?
14, bro.
14.
Oh my gosh.
Get your numbers right.
14 with my good friend Casper, which you guys obviously met as well. Pretty much the only Polish guy I know in this space. That's, yeah, I mean, that's the only guy I know. I've met a bunch of that, like, a bunch of setters, all that stuff. Not a single closer, let alone like a DM and setter manager. So super pumped for this. I already know a shit ton about. Oh, I don't know if I can curse. Whatever. I already know
It's your
about
podcast,
a
so
lot
you can
about.
say what you want.
Yeah, easy stuff. I already know a lot about Casper. We're actually meeting this week, so super excited for it. I think as far as like a good introduction for the people that obviously don't know you, I think maybe we'll just give you the lead here, Casper. Maybe just like a quick introduction about yourself. You know how you get into how you got into sales. Your journey is quite interesting. Quite interesting is an understatement, but just spill some beans, brother.
Yeah, it's pretty complicated. I don't even know where to start, so I don't take like 30 minutes of it, but I'll try to be super quick. So my story starts like I'm not like like I'm definitely one of the people who is in the space for a shorter period of time because like a lot of people I've met that are successful in the space, like they are, oh, I've been working 7 years, 8 years, 9 years. I'm 23, 24 this year, and I've been in the space for like 3 years. I started as a pizza delivery guy 3 years ago. And basically, the reason why I got into the sales space or like, a space where we make bigger money was because I was so pissed seeing people with good cars in front of the restaurant. Like, I was like, Jesus, like, I really hate those fucking people. Why are they driving Ferraris and they drive like a broken down Volkswagen, like, driving around with pizzas? So I was like looking for some ways to make money, and I had a bunch of money saved up, and that's where I saw Sam Ovens on like his YouTube ads. And I was like, well, let's just enroll in his program, the Consulting Accelerator, and see what's inside. So I pay like 2 grand for it. At the time, I think that was the price for it. And the entire mindset module was just sharing my mindset on how to make money and everything. The rest of the stuff at the time where I was enrolling was pretty outdated. So I tried a bunch of it, but it didn't really work out. Plus, I didn't really know what should a pizza delivery guy consult on. Like, there wasn't really nothing. So uh, after that, I started working in a call center just to get some sales experience at least. But in Poland, like the call centers here are just cancer. So I
Yeah.
just ended up working a lot of hours and not really learning anything, and just doing 400 dials for like $500 a month.
How's it
And
cancer?
then I saw it's just a culture, dude. Like for example, when you sell a solar or when you sell like anything else in States, like you can like I know personally some guys in States that make 30 grand or 50 grand in solar. Like in Poland, like I don't know anybody unless it's the owner that's making more than 2 grand. Like
Yeah.
or at least I don't know the companies, but like majority of the companies
Wow.
I know or heard people working, 2 grand tops. And that's like if you're like a director or like a high level manager. But like the people who just sell it get nothing. Like literally all you get for selling a lot is a pizza party at the end of the week or like at the end of the month. Like that's it.
Okay. All right.
So at that time, I remember I switched part-time and I found my first mentor. Um, and the program was like 7 grand, and I didn't have like any money saved up whatsoever. So I was like, okay, it's all in. Like if I fail, I'm gonna be broke like I am right now, or I'm gonna succeed and it's gonna be fucking amazing. So I I applied for a loan to like few banks and I get declined from all of them, but because I applied for like 25 grand or something just to survive while I'm still learning and learn how to set to operate in the coaching business. And they declined me because I wasn't making that much money. I was like super young at that time. I was like 20. And I applied to like some shady banks, like really like the banks that are nowhere, like, just like banks that borrow you the money and you have to pay like 150% of it. And that's the real story. I had to pay that. So I borrowed the money, and for 6 months I made nothing. And I was at the point where like literally like I didn't know what to do because I know that the rates from the bank were so high that I needed to make money. And after 6 months, magically, I started making with DM setting like 1K here, 2K here, 3K here, and then another 6 months I made 18 grand. And then after that, I took even full ownership once I saw it's working, and I was okay, all in, like grind mode on, and I was working 12 hours, 7 days a week, and in the next 6 months I made 180 grand. So 10 times more. And that's when I was promoted to a DM manager. I was DM managing a company from around like 300K to 700K, and the business owner that hired me for the DM managing role, he was like, "Hey, like you blew it out of the water, like the entire business. Like let's start something together." So like, cool. So we started a company together, and in my best months with both companies and also like the other projects that I had going on, like I was building DFI setting departments, basically hiring and training people. So I had a few of those going on the background. I made 67 grand. So I went from making $500 to making like 67 grand at some point. Like on average, I was making around 25, 30. Now I'm like hanging around 20 because I just dialed down. I didn't want to work that much and just wanted to, you know, well,
Still,
I'm
it's
gonna
not
get to that.
it's not too bad for living in Poland.
Yeah, it's I
No,
can
I-
live. I can live. But
So
I said it to Sean.
were you doing all that just as a DM setter, like that 180K in 6 months just as a DM setter, or were you doing
yeah,
other things?
yeah, that was
Shit.
that was only as a DM setter. I was my
Wow.
best month as a DM setter. I made 21 grand. And humbly speaking, I don't know anybody that's making more than 50. Like I don't think I know anybody. And I train like 100 setters myself. Like the top setters I trained made like 13 grand.
Wait,
And I don't know, maybe
how did you do that in
yeah.
1 month? Like how did you do that? I've never heard of a setter making more than like 6K. Never
Well,
mind.
bro, that's a pattern that you're gonna see because like I'm just driven by hatred sometimes. Like literally the closers in the company were so shit. Like literally, I was booking them laydowns. I was booking them people who were doing like 2 million a month, and they wanted to join a program that was 60 grand or 70 grand, which basically for those people, like it's not that much if you promise them that that they're gonna make like 500K more in the baseline because they didn't have any organic going on. And the closers jumped on the call with them, and they were like, "Oh yeah, like like they just didn't close, like whatsoever. They just didn't show them what's the program really capable of." And I was like, like fuck that. I'm gonna reach out to those people myself, and I'm gonna close them in the DMs. And during that month, I closed 22 people in the DMs, a few 60 grand packages, and like a bunch of like majority of them was like 12K and 9K. So I just closed all of those packages to prove the closers that they are shit.
You just plugged them all in the DMs, did you? Wow.
Yeah, I was like, like
Savage.
I booked you laydowns, like
Yeah.
fucking hell, man. Like I'm gonna show you how to close them, and I showed. So
Savage,
it was
bro.
all out of hatred.
Yeah.
I was actually saying to Sean the other day that in Poland, what you really need, and this is the truth for majority of the countries out there, apart from obviously the US, the UK even, you get 3K, 4K baseline just in itself, you're living very well. And like when you reach the point where you're making 10K and beyond, like there's nothing really changes in your lifestyle, like besides like when you make like 5K on a monthly basis. But that's like take home. Like if you make 10K, 15K, 20K, on top of that, like there's not really that much of a difference because there isn't really like what are you gonna even get here in Poland? Like I mean maybe just rent out like the top penthouse in the capital
Yeah,
because everything is just so cheap.
the best I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with sea towers in Poland, in Gdynia. Maybe
Oh, I am.
Sam, you are familiar. Yeah. So it's like I think I might be wrong, but it's the biggest skyscraper in Three City, which is like three cities in Poland, like that are the closest to the sea. It's Sopot, it's Gdynia, and it's Gdańsk. I live in Gdańsk, and there's the best skyscraper in Gdynia, which is like TV celebrities live there, and the rent like to rent out the top penthouse with two-story penthouse. It
Mhm.
costs 7 grand a month.
It's not too bad.
That's crazy.
And in Dubai, it was like cost 70.
Right.
Yeah.
Or others, or like Germany, for example. I reckon in Germany you have some like apartments that cost like 20 grand for sure.
Holy crap.
Easy.
Yeah, there's apartments down the road from me in Amsterdam that cost like 12K a month, and it's like It's
Are
it
you
looks
moving in?
Yeah.
like it looks like a very nice like apartments, but like it's 12K a month in Amsterdam. Like no way.
I think
To be
it's
fair though,
funny.
I heard Amsterdam is super fucking expensive.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's crazy expensive. You need honestly, you need like 4K over here every month just to basically get by, just to survive. The way in Poland, the way it's like 4K, it's like you're living like a king. Here, it's like 4K minimum just to survive, pay the bills, and have a little bit of money left over to kind of do what you want. Because we went
Well,
Yeah.
to, me and my girlfriend went to Rotterdam today, and like one-way ticket was like 30 euros. So there and back was like 60 euros just on the train. So yeah, it's crazy.
I would say this
Yeah.
as far as like if this is not a good sign to move over to Poland, I don't know what is. But it's interesting to me because when you're making 60K in Poland, like I mean we're speaking CEO money and not like average company CEO. We're speaking of like the equivalent of Fortune 500 companies making 60K on a monthly basis, which was right like you mentioned yourself, like kind of like the best month. What made you kind of want to go from the 60K, like, obviously you have other projects and all that stuff right now in the 20K, still for Poland, that's way more than enough. Is it kind of like a lifestyle design choice for you? Because we see it quite a lot recently, because we typically speak to a lot of guys that are quite accomplished in the space. Um, Many of them say like they have their own vision for like what they want to do with the money. Of course, they can go for more money even. I think JD Daly was a great example because he mentioned that he had to set a vision for himself. He wanted to travel, all that stuff. And ever since then, I kind of realized for me, I don't know if I want to be working more than 5 hours on a day-to-day basis. I know it's a first world problem, but it's like
Yeah.
working 5 hours a day, like that's my goal. Work 5 hours a day, have enough for just whatever I need. Is that kind of like the case with you with like that 20K, 30K range? Or are you just going to try and obviously scale beyond that? Like what's behind that?
You know, I think that one of the choices for that was that you can make, like, I can see people like you, for example, like meeting you was a good like it showcased something to me, that you don't have to hustle actively so much to make good money. Like, for example, I'd rather work 2 hours a day and make 20 grand rather than work 12 hours a day and make 100 grand. Because there's one thing, I'm not sure who said that exactly, but like, it's obvious when you think about it. Everybody wants to make 1 million a month, but not a lot of people want the responsibilities. And I'm gonna be honest, like, I'm ambitious. I don't want the responsibilities though. Like, if you make 100 grand a month, like, there are two there are two situations where you can make that type of money: when the CEO is stupid and pays you too much, or you have too many responsibilities. And I don't want that many responsibilities. Like, I just want to be in my zone. I just want to do sales. I don't want to wear any other hats in the business. I don't want to do marketing. I don't want to do delivery. I don't want to do anything else. Just sales. If I can make with just sales 100 grand, perfect. I know that for me, like running 2 opportunities or 3 opportunities, maybe I'd be working like 8 hours a day, 6 days a week, and I would maybe cap out like 50. Um, and that's enough. Like, honestly, in my lifestyle right now, only thing that changed for me from going from 60 to 20 was not buying dear shoes, not buying like dear shirts or any other stuff. And I told you about it. Like, I don't give a fuck about that. Like, I literally wear on me, I wear 100, sorry, 100, it would be 100 zloty, it would be like $20. 20 bucks Zara shirt, like $30 hat, and only thing that's more expensive is maybe like Wrangler jeans, which is like also like $70.
Mm.
I don't give a fuck about that. Like, previously I was just like, oh, I'm making CEO money, I need to have everything that's super expensive. I need to have like YSL accessories that cost like $300. I need to have this. I need to have this. But like, honestly, like, if it grabs attention, it grabs attention of the wrong people either way. Like,
Yeah.
only people who would recognize that stuff would be like, you know, post on the street, like, oh, you have YSL, like, let me date you, you know? But like when we speak together, like you guys are in the same space that I am, and if somebody buys a 30K watch, it's like, nice, good for him.
Mhm.
Anyhow, and you just
Yeah.
move on to like something completely different. Like you just
I mean, it's a nice conversation starter, like for 10 seconds, and you move on to something that's more important.
yeah. I mean that's why I didn't mention watches, because I have a Rolex and I still wear it for like big events, because like people who like the watch game, like it's gonna be a conversation starter. Like for example, we had a good conversation with Derek, I think, or even we started the conversation about like Rolexes and stuff, and we were speaking for like 2 hours or 3 hours. So it's a good conversation starter. But anything else that's not like a watch, that's not a car, that's like nothing like that, it's not gonna start a good conversation. Like what, Dior shirt? Like everybody can buy that, but a 20K Rolex, like guy who's working in McDonald's that worked like 10 months is not gonna buy that.
Or you can buy
But
a
for a
fake one,
Dior
I
shoes,
guess.
yeah,
Yeah, take it
yeah.
long
But for
time.
Dior shoes, like you can just work in Germany for 2 months and you can buy them, and it's it's a bad financial decision, but you can do that.
What do you do at the moment, Casper? What are you working as now?
I'm managing Jeremy Miner, DM team and SMS team. I'm currently, I wouldn't say yet in a transition phase, but I am gonna be managing his outbound team soon as well. So just moving to like managing DMs and triage, and who knows where I go from there. And also on the side, oh, I wouldn't say on the side. I'm also at the same time managing a sales. I'm in a sales management role for a AI company, AI Sellers, which is more like a startup.
Mhm.
They make good money. It's like 40 grand a month or so. But I'm planning to get it to like 200 grand, 250. And besides
Mhm.
that, like I would say it's how do you want to say it? Like, oh, okay, never mind. I have the word. Like for referral based, people sometimes reach out to me to like hire their team or train their team. So sometimes I just charge like 5 grand for training somebody for like 30 days, or like 2 grand
Yeah.
to place somebody in a business. So that type of stuff. But those are two projects I'm really focused on.
Yeah.
Do you
I have
go
I have a
ahead, Sam?
question. Yeah. So you mentioned AI, and that's a big question I've got. Like just how you see things, because I mean, I don't think any of us have that much DM setting experience.
No.
But like, how do you see AI affecting DM setting in the future here?
I mean, I would say I'm kind of in the middle. Because there are downsides of both, and there is pros of both as well. Like for example, as a DM setter, if I really really tried hard, I could work like 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, and at the top of my career, I was like generating like 250, 300 grand. But AI, it doesn't need to sleep. It doesn't need to go to the gym. So AI can work 24 hours, 7 days a week. So probably AI could outwork me. Like the biggest question would be the quality. But at the AI company I'm working with right now, it's really hard to distinguish AI from people. Unless you're the top 1% of people
Mm-hmm.
in the setting space, you're gonna be replaced. And like that's what I truly believe in. Like if you're just an average Joe Schmo doing setting, like you're gonna be taken out of business by AI. But if you're like selling, let's say 100 grand packages, 120 grand packages, and there's much more like ins and outs to learn about when it comes to selling, like AI is not going to replace it. Like for example, if somebody would try to sell Sam on like 100 grand Airbnb coaching offer, like probably there's a lot of things to mention, like taxes, like this, like that, like this, like all of the things that are more that you have to discuss more in detail when it comes to that business. AI is not going to replace that. But for example, B2C offers day and night, BizUp day and night.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I always say that to my setters as well. Like even for the setting position when AI is not even involved yet, it's just a transitioning position, because the reality right now for an average guy is to make like 6 grand, 7 grand more like top with DM setting. But it's a phase for you where you learn the ins and out of business, ins and out of closing, how the business operates from the background. and that's a good stepping stone from you to transition from that to closing. And in closing, that's where you can make good money. And in closing, that's where you can learn more ins and outs of business, like, for example, how the delivery operates, how this operates, how that operates. So it's a stepping stone. That's how I would consider setting.
Mhm.
You know, I kind of went longer with it, and like it was a stepping stone for me in another direction. But I would say that the recommended direction for an average guy is just to go to closing after setting.
Okay.
What
Gotcha.
would you say is the timeline for the setters being replaced?
I would
Like,
say
do you see this
it's a
happening
hard
soon?
thing. I would say it's a hard thing to really. Right now we have like 50 clients in the AI company, and I know a lot of like other AI companies that also have like a similar client base.
Mm-hmm.
So for the smaller businesses that are making 20, 50 grand, 60 grand, like sellers are not gonna be replaced. But for businesses that are like seventh level, like Jeremy Miner, right, or bigger businesses, like for example Bill's business, it can be replaced. Like I would say maybe 2 or 3 years. But that's just like really, you know, that's just a wild guess. Like I'm selling AI, but I'm not sure how on a daily basis it improves. Plus, it's not really that predictable. Like for example, 3 years ago, there was that big boom where ChatGPT launched and AI like just really took a leap. So it was something that just came out of a sudden. Like you didn't have any updates. Like, oh, in 2 weeks, ChatGPT is gonna came up. That's gonna revolutionize the industry. No, it just launched one day and boom, and everything blew up. Like I'm using ChatGPT right now to fucking write my workout plans or to like help me with creating a message. Like, hey, create a message for a sales rep that's not performing and you want to part ways with him. Copy and paste, send. You know, I mean, obviously, I try. I'm not like that. You know, but you know, I would
What do
say
you see?
2 to 3 years.
What do you see is that kind of like the biggest bottleneck with DM setting in companies out there? Is it kind of like the amount of leads? What do you personally focus on, like when you are looking to kind of vet good offers for yourself, or maybe for someone that obviously doesn't have your experience yet, but is trying to get to that level that you've been able to achieve? Like, how do you go about finding the good offers that you can grow in?
So I think I kind of asked like two questions there. Like,
Yeah.
what do I look for bottlenecks, and also how to find a good offer, right? Yeah. So
Essentially, what would be the bottlenecks on like a potential new offer that you'd want to be aware of?
um, I would say like first offer always has to be an offer where like it's pretty much shit, because nobody's gonna hire you for a good offer. That's, for example, for closing, you have like objection box, or you have NAPQ, right? Like if you're NAPQ certified, objection box certified, you can find good offers out there for closing because people know that name. People know, okay, this guy comes from Bill Walsh. I'm gonna hire him because most likely he's on a good level. I heard good things about those guys. For DM setting, there's not that many coaching programs that have good reputation. Like at least you know, I'm saying from my experience that rarely somebody gets hired when they didn't have an opportunity before. It's you have to play in the mud for a bit. Like you have to really play in the mud with the first offer, and you really have to outperform in it, even if it's a shit offer, and then leverage the numbers. Like for example, like even if you're not generating that much money, like really making sure that you generate a lot of sets for at least 3 to 4 months, and then later you can leverage that in your CV resume. Like, hey, I booked like 50, 60 meetings. However, the closing department was not on the same level, so I didn't close. And that already like gives you some leverage. Like you can already put your foot in the door. But it's really hard to find a good opportunity where you're just a beginner. Like really, because the hiring process is also it's also a bit weird with the setting, because people look for a 2 year experience, 3 year experience, whatever. They don't really look at the attitude. And I do think that it's really also it's pretty popular as well in the closing space, where people don't look at the attitude, they only look at the skill set. Personally, I would love to have somebody with great attitude, 10 out of 10, and like 2 out of 10 skill set, because the skill set can be trained, attitude cannot be trained.
100%.
So,
Yeah.
it takes me around 30 to 60 days to teach somebody how to set. And after that, it's just ramping up, and making sure that they're the best. So I would say the bottleneck is that, obviously don't join somebody like it may sound racist as hell, but don't join like a fucking Indian business, like somebody that doesn't have anything out there, just like guy that's named like Nilesh, and you join his business and like, there's nothing on the internet. Just a guy like, hey, I'm hiring setters for 1K base per month. Like, Jesus Christ, like you do your research. I would say,
Surprisingly, there's a lot of people out there from the US, from the UK, exploiting that. And sometimes I would say even the Indian markets. I know it's just an example, obviously, but I would say sometimes even the Indian markets, they're more legit than some of the American offers. Because I get the random DMs from people asking me like about being a closer for them, and they just have the zero social proof whatsoever. It's like
yeah.
who's actually gonna do that?
And also, like for bigger offers, Reddit is super helpful. Like obviously, Reddit, there's a lot of people that are just negative. They just shit on everything they see.
Yeah. Yep.
But like if you see on Reddit that there's like 5 threads open about somebody, like for example, well, let's say Richard Yu in comparison to like other people in the
I was
coaching
literally
space.
thinking of that.
Like,
Oh, really? Okay.
yeah, like you go to Reddit, you go to YouTube, you go to Facebook, people are asking for refunds everywhere. And Bill Walsh, he's popular. Jeremy Miner, he's popular. They don't have that many fucking messages about the refunds. And you would think that if somebody is being like followed by 500,000 people, by like 1 million people, you'd get a lot of those messages because like obviously you have more clients, you have more people asking for refunds because that's the way it goes.
No.
It's not. Like some people are just fucking bad, like straight up bad. And the guy that you can't say the name of as well. There's a lot of bad messages about them. But yeah, the social proof. Just looking at them, just looking for them in Reddit. Looking for some websites, if not website, just Instagram, just browsing through the comments, just looking at Facebook. Like for example, for setters, if you see somebody on Instagram with like 100,000 followers, but they have like 3 likes on their posts, the red flag, like they probably have no traffic. Facebook, same. If somebody has like 60 likes, 70 likes, 100 likes, and those are like good quality people, like for example, Sam, Sean, like me, you, then okay. But if it's like all Indian, obviously bots. So that's one thing. And the second question, I'm glad that you asked it actually, because I don't think we even spoke about it personally, but it's the most obvious thing you would think about. Like how to train a good setter, how to become a good setter is to learn sales. Like because people really they just separate both setting and closing. Well, it's not really separate. Like you still have to sell, you still have to reach out to cold people or to people that are warmer, convince them that a meeting would help them. Same on the call, you need to convince that the program will help them, or you need to show them like you need to build a gap, right? And a lot of setters they don't know how to sell. Like they just go through the script, like copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste. They don't really explore that. Like for example, if somebody says like, "Hey, like Sam, like I'm not gonna enroll into your program because I'm having a baby on the way and it's gonna take a lot of like it's gonna be a lot of financial burden." Like a lot of setters, they're like, okay, let's speak in 2 weeks. No, man, explore the smoke screen. Hey, I totally understand you, man, and I appreciate you for bringing that up. I guess would you say you'd be open to seeing things from a slightly different perspective? Yes. Well, so if you have a baby on the way and you have like you're making 5K right now, with the current inflation, you're going to have a problem in the next 2 or 3 years to later provide for your family. So don't you think that the best time to invest in yourself to make more with your current commissions, to double your commissions would be right now? Boom, and you already have a conversation. So you're placing the doubt in somebody's head. Then you can book them in for a call, and on the call, the closer can do the rest of the work. Like that's how it works. Like you're not gonna have laydowns in your inbox. So
your job is turning them into a laydown. That's the goal. So
yeah, I would say 50-50 because some closers I work with some people like that were like, oh, this guy has 2 objections. I'm not gonna speak with him. I'm like, dude, you're a fucking closer.
Yeah. No, I get that. It's definitely to warm them up a little bit more rather than just send them straight to closer without knowing anything. So
Yeah, like I would say the middle ground, because you don't want to
Yeah.
book in people that are just like, yeah, whatever, I'll have the call. Like you don't want to book those people. Like you want to book the people that are like, I would say 70% in to 100% in, that they know they need help, but they don't think that you can provide them the help. I would say that this would be a good like sweet spot.
mhm, yeah.
How do you feel about the setters that just book in because it's a like they treat it as a volume game? I'll have as many because I used to work with setters that operated like this, and I was just having a lot of calls, but they were just very poor quality. Most of the kind of approach was, yeah, just jump on this call and you have all the answers and all this stuff. How do you kind of go about the nurturing process in the set itself? Like, do you like if you feel like there's a need, like, do you provide them all that stuff? Do you teach your, you know, some of the guys that you trade, teach them to nurture the prospects as well, or
Yeah, I would say like to answer this, like for closing, you have a lot of resources to train the people how to close, how to sell. There's not a lot of resources for setters. So a lot of people blame the setters as well, but you have to also ask a question: do the setters get the required help and support from the business owners to be good setters? The answer in most cases is no, because when business owner goes into the inbox, what are they using? Voice notes. Well, like they are speaking like themselves. There's no framework. Like the business owner knows so much about sales that already it makes them good in setting. But the setters, they are not good in sales because they can't close, so they are just basing it off of a script. And if it's not fitting into the script, like if what the prospect says doesn't fit into the script, they get lost and they are just like, yeah, whatever, closer will do that. So like that's the first thing. And second thing for nurturing, yeah, like obviously, like this is, I mean, we all know that it's bad when just setters just push somebody to the closing call. I when I teach the setters, it's usually how to widen the gap first before even booking a call. And if somebody is not ready now, it's just getting two tangible things: a time when you can get back to them, and second, if they want to book in a call now. So if you can't get the one thing, which is like booking a call now, like do you want to book a call? Like obviously, you know, it's much more complex. We just ask like, hey, when do you think we should speak about it later? And then we have a follow-up sequence. So nobody is just being messaged right now and you forget about it for 2 years. It's just like, you know, let me just pull up one of my follow-up sequences that I rolled out actually yesterday.
Casper dropping pure value for all the setters.
yeah.
Yeah.
And as you, Casper, as you look for it, what I wanted to follow this up with is like, do you think it's also important to have the correct frame for the closing call itself? Because like if you just say and well, if the seller just comes in and says, you know, get on this information call and whatever discovery call to see how what this is and blah blah blah, or do you go ahead and kind of tell them more about like, let's see if we are a fit for each other and if we can help each other, meaning more it's like setting it from like a information call, see what this is about, to more like a decision call, see if what you like is, see if what you hear is what you like and if you want to move forward. Do you notice that difference, or
I would say I always set it in the middle because I do think that decision, like the frame for making the decision on the call, it's good for the close rate because you can book in that you can close a lot of people because they know that they'll have to make a decision. But also not a lot of people will move forward with that. But when you like
Yeah.
put it in the middle, like, oh, it's a decision call or it's an information call, the close rate is obviously gonna be lower. Like you're gonna have less short-term wins. But for example, you like a skilled closer can be like, hey man, like it's all right. Like you don't have to make a decision right now. Let's pick in 2 weeks. Then you set up a follow-up in 2 weeks and somebody is ready and you can close them. So it's better for the long term to have that information call. But obviously I just don't frame it like, hey man, just speak with Sam. He's gonna help you. Like I just like one go-to line that I have is like, hey man, based on everything you just said to me, do you think it would be appropriate to book in a call with my right-hand man, Sam, to see how, and even if in the first place, would be able to help you with doubling your commissions? Yes, that makes sense. And then you ask them like, hey, do you think it's appropriate? Because they think that they have the decision in their hand. and then the show up rate is gonna be bigger because they made the decision. You didn't force them, so nobody's gonna go on a call and tell you like, hey, like your business owner forced me to jump on a call. And second, like you're gonna have a better
frankly,
conversation as well.
I had it on a couple of offers where it was just like, yeah, the business owner told me to jump on a call, and I was just like, well, what's
Yeah.
going on, you know? So would
Yeah,
you say
exactly.
like that's just poor setting?
I would say like both. You can still turn it into a good call. Like during closing, you can just say like, "Oh, well, I'm not sure." Okay, that's weird. That doesn't sound like for example, well, let's say JD. That doesn't sound like JD. But well, what did you guys speak about that made JD offer the call? Oh, we spoke
So you just
about like
reframe it.
my poor time. Yeah, and you reframe it. You can do it. You can move forward with the conversation. It's probably not gonna be our first call close. Like you're gonna close it
No.
after 2 or 3 calls. But yeah, that's definitely like poor setting. Like the call was framed in a bad way. But
I
yeah,
have
just
a
for the follow-ups because I have it right here. Like for example, my follow-ups, like some of the follow-ups, they are some of them are value-based. So for example, the first follow-up when somebody ghosts me is like, hey, would love to hear back from you when you get the second. And that's like the simplest one that you can have. But the second follow-up is like, hey, name, we spoke about XYZ problem recently, and I thought that it would be helpful to drop you one of the videos that owner did on this topic. Here is the video, and let me know what are your thoughts on it. Because then, like, you're just providing them value, and they're gonna be like, okay, like I'm not being treated just like money, so like, thank you for the help. And it's gonna make them open up because if they're gonna get value from a free video, it's gonna be like, oh, okay, maybe what this guy speaks really makes sense, and then it's gonna make them open up in the in the in the setting process later. But also one thing that I would say not a lot of people do on closing calls and setting, like both, like this is the thing that I started playing with recently. Like, Jesus, like pull the stick out of your ass, dude. Like, why are you so fucking tense on the setting on like doing setting or closing calls? Like you're just like majority of people are just staying on those calls like beep bop boop, this is the script. I'm gonna sell you now. And for example, like, dude, when I have like 3 people on the call, I just tell them, and like I had a situation like this recently. 3 people on the call, only one was speaking. And I just said to the guy in the middle of the call, like, dude, why are the other 2 people in here? Like, are they here to intimidate me? Or like do they speak or something? You know, and just joking around, like it's gonna make the people laugh and like they're gonna like you more, and it's gonna be like, okay, you know, Sam is a nice guy, you can joke around with him, and they're just gonna open up more. Like for example, with follow-ups, like I have, for example, one follow-up that's literally with the subject, that's for emails, but missing person report. Hey name, didn't hear back from you. Should I assume you've been drafted into a team of superheroes, discovered a portal to another dimension, or just took up a life of a pirate on the high seas? Let me know where do you want to go from here. Like
That'd be
that's
something for
it. You know,
Sean.
it's
Sean sounds like a pirate already,
Yeah,
so
I do. Yeah,
yeah.
is that a follow-up sequence for after the closing call or just after they ghost you in the DMs?
After the it's after they this sequence is when they opt in and don't respond. So it's
Ah.
they opt in for a free course and they don't respond to it. They don't log in, so it's one of the follow-up sequences. Oh, I'm looking for one more.
Man, I love your emphasis though on, you know, it's a conversation at the end of the day. And a
yeah.
script is, I think it's an okay way to start if you haven't closed yet. But like
Yeah,
every lead or prospect you're speaking with is a human being and everybody's different. So like, and I know like at least for me when I'm getting sold to, I don't want to just feel like I'm going through a script with somebody or somebody's just going through a script with me. I want to actually feel like I'm being understood.
But you know
yeah,
when you're going through a script because you'd say, "Oh yeah, I'm having like a shit time in my job or XYZ," and then it's just straight on to the next question. Oh, what do you like about ABC? It's like it's just like there's no
yeah.
framework to it, you know. But you just
There's
say,
one rule that
"Yeah, go on."
yeah, go on.
Nah, you go, Casper. You're the guest.
Yeah, there's one rule that I use for both setting and closing. It's the ERA rule, which is acknowledge, relate, and ask a question. So, for example, like Sam, you said you said like a second ago, like I like when it's a conversation and somebody is not going with me through the script. Like what I would say in this is like acknowledgement. Hey man, totally get you. Like I went through so many fucking calls where just people were just going like straight to the line, like script asking question after question. They didn't say um, anything about my situation. So that's acknowledgement relating to it. So I acknowledge what you just said, so you feel heard. Relate, so we are more like on the same level. Like, hey man, I went through the same. Then ask a question. So, just curious, like when you're having those calls, is there anything specific that's happening that makes you feel like it's scripted? Oh yeah, dude, like when I'm having those calls, like I just hear the scripts that I just saw in the internet. Like literally I saw the same scripts. Yeah, dude, like a lot of people just use the scripts from the internet and they just fucking copy and paste it into their processes. They maybe change like 2 words. So what do you think would be the perfect process for the closing calls then? Like what do you feel would not make them sound scripted? Oh, just having more human conversation. And you just go forward, back and forth. Like obviously you don't want to overdo it with acknowledgement and relating.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, man, I have the same thing. But like definitely ERA rule is gonna help both closers and setters, like with just sounding more human. At the end of the day, it's a conversation. Like if I call it a soft turn and hard turn and setting and closing process. Basically, an example that I like to give, it's when you're speaking with a friend and you guys are speaking about like pineapple and you want to speak about pizza and like you're gonna say something immediately about pizza, they're gonna be like, why the fuck is Sam talking about pizza? We were just talking about fruits and pineapple. So that's a hard turn. Like it's gonna turn off the prospects. Like, what the fuck did he ask that? Like we were just speaking about my job and he asking like if I do closing or if I want to transition to closing. So that's a hard turn. A soft turn, it's like when you guys are speaking about the pineapple and you say like, yeah, man, I love pineapple, especially on like on pizza. Like I love Hawaiian pizza. And then, by the way, what's your favorite pizza? Oh, it's like margarita. And then you transition into the pizza subject, and they don't really feel it because it came natural from the conversation. So when you're speaking about the people, like about their job, like they say that they have a shitty job. Sometimes you have to ask 2 or 3 filler questions to move to the another subject.
Yeah. Yep.
We're all big fans of actually having conversations, and I think it started clicking for us. Well, for me and Sam, I don't know about Sean because he's a pirate. He does his own stuff. But no,
He's a
definitely for him
leprechaun.
as well.
I'm a
Leprechaun, yeah.
Little leprechaun pirate.
But it's freeing to an extent because I come from the background of having done much better myself without a script and then being forced to a script and performing like trash and all those well, not like trash. I still performed well, but I mean it's just like it's so draining to go for a script because the conversations just don't seem natural. So I was able to just do more like a month on some of those offers that just were very like, you gotta speak this percentage of the time. You gotta go through all those questions. And it seems like every single call you gotta go through the same stuff. It's just like I have no idea. I have no idea how these guys go on from that. And for me, it's just been freeing, kind of being myself on these calls. Every single one of us has their own personality, and I think that's the most beautiful thing. Coming in and having the same approach with people, and just also being completely detached because sometimes you just don't know, right? I mean, I recently had a call with a guy that I was a little bit angry with. Like, you hear it all the time, people being, saying, well, if he doesn't show up within 5 minutes or he's in a car, you should reschedule him and all that stuff, right? Well, I guess that kind of resentment that was kind of planted in me started showing up. But then I realized after talking to this guy, because I rescheduled him without knowing, turns out he had 2 disabled kids, and the only time he could make the time for me and for us to have this call was literally when he was busting his ass off in the middle of taking a shipment to have this call. And I feel like it's actually just being more empathetic with the prospects. Just like Sam said, it's we want to be heard and understood. We don't want to be just like fucking numbers. And I feel like it's so yes, it's just so easy to now distinguish, especially if you've been in sales, how when someone just treats you like a number. I had a bunch of agency calls where those people just go through it's just a script. And I just
Yeah.
get turned off, and I hate to say it. I'm just one of those guys at some point like this, and I know what we're doing here. I respect your process, but please, like we're like there's no building the gap here. I'm simply trying to find out like what you guys do and what are the deliverables. That's it. But how do
Yeah.
you guys deal with those people? Because like I know in some trainings there's like, oh yeah, but you gotta reframe them, all this stuff. But I feel like it's not a frame game. I feel it's like when someone comes in with the attitude like I'm already kind of pre-made my decision. Sometimes going through the framework, even not script, framework is actually going to turn them off. And that's where the conversation flexibility actually comes into place. And that's how you truly separate yourself from the mediocre, good, and all the way down to all the way up to very good closers.
Hmm. Yeah, it's like reading the intent. Because like I
Yeah.
feel like for you, Sam, like I think it really depends, but if somebody gets the idea that you're ready to make a decision, like you want to make a change, you're just trying to find the right company to make a change with, then they'll just
Yeah.
go ahead and give you the details. And then you guys both figure it out from there.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
100%.
for sure. Because the people who just don't, what literally they've done their research on you and they just want the product. And I actually had a close like that the other day. He's like bought one of our lower ticket programs, and he just wanted to see if the higher ticket program was a fit. He came on. He's like, "Yeah, I got the done for you. Just want to find out what we do here. Can you just let me know about it?" Asked him like 3 or 4 questions, and then just went straight into a pitch. And then
Yeah.
like within like 25 minutes, he's like, "Okay, let's do it." You know, because I would have just went through the framework if I didn't know what to do. Asked him a load of bunch of questions, pissed him off, and he would have just hung up the call. It's like,
Yeah,
I've
because
already met.
he would understand. Like, don't you feel like he would understand that? Oh, you're just trying to get the sale. Instead of helping him understand him, you just
Mhm.
go for the script that supposedly is going to help you understand him, which does apply to 99% of other people. But when you get someone that's already have gone through some sort of content, already been nurtured, all of that stuff, it's just a whole ass different conversation.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Casper, I have a question for you. Whenever we text, you always respond in like 60 minutes or 30 minutes. How do you manage your DMs? Because I imagine you're a very busy guy. And
Yeah.
I've always
It's
wondered because like,
prioritization
yeah,
because I know you.
yeah, okay.
Like
Fair
I
enough.
literally, whenever I see a message that like, by any like, even though I'm a master at selling, right?
Hmm.
Um, I I don't respond to everybody in 30 minutes. Sometimes I have people like reach out to me and I see it's a weird name. Hey, I've been referred from blah 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 blah. I'm like, okay, you can wait like a day. Like whatever. Like plus like if somebody like reaches out to me to fix something, I know that they are not gonna find one somebody better to get that done. Second, I just respect my time, and if I respond within 30 minutes and I'm just super desperate, like the negotiation, like I just have less status there. But whenever Sam messages me, I'm like, bro, somebody's on a call. I'm like, oh Sam. I just respond during the call. Like, hey man, what's
But
up?
I just send value all the time. That's why.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah. No, it's
Just
just like,
nude, just send you
prioritization.
nudes.
Like when I like somebody, when I'm friends with somebody, I just respond pretty fast. But if that's somebody that, is somebody that can wait, I just don't really care. Also, I wanted to like chime in on one thing that Sam said about the frameworks. I do think one of the things that we often forget or don't think about, like us, because we are pretty advanced, I'd say, is that a lot of things that apply to us don't apply to the beginners. So if somebody's like watching this video, like has like 2 months of experience, just stick to
Not
the
a good
framework.
idea.
Like don't
Yeah.
try to figure out like your own process. Plus, also like one thing that's really important to distinguish is you have framework, but the reason why I'm a really big fan of frameworks is because you can mold your approach onto the framework. You can't mold your approach into the script. For example, if you would tell me on a call to be more arrogant, people would fucking hate me. But if you said that to a 40-year-old lady that's selling a fucking GERD program, like to fix reflux, to be more arrogant, she's gonna be more convincing. She's not gonna be like, "Oh yeah, love, make a decision in 2 weeks." I understand. Like if she's gonna be more arrogant, like you telling her to be more arrogant, it's gonna do something totally different than you telling a guy that's in his 20s to be more arrogant, selling like a coaching, like a fitness coaching program. So just finding your own way and just testing approaches. Like I try to be super arrogant, didn't turn out well. Like I have tattoos, I'm fucking bald. Like I just seem like I'm just fucking like I'm a fraud. Like I'm just trying to fucking steal from them on call. Like give me your money. But like my approach is I would say 50-50. Like when I'm speaking with a guy my age, I'm just more like, dude, I was in the exact same spot. Like, why the fuck would you want to even stay where you are right now? I'm just more straight to the point. Whenever I'm speaking with women, for example, I'm like, like I understand you have kids and like, you're a mother, but like since you are here, don't you think that it kind of means something that you want to get out of that situation and provide like more to your kids? I'm just totally switching my approach. It's just being like a good closer needs to also be a chameleon and just like kind of switch your approach based on the people.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like you're not gonna
it's
tell a
just social
guy
awareness.
who has two disabled kids to work 16 hours a day and don't give a fuck about kids. Like Jesus Christ, dude. Like some people, I know some people that would do that. That's crazy. But like I'm too empathetic to be that. Maybe I'm just losing out on some sales, but I do think as a closer, you also have to be congruent with yourself because you're gonna feel like a scammer. And I've been in that place. I've been in that place when I sold something that I really didn't believe in. And you guys know what that is. And that's the reason why I went from making 60, 50 grand to going back to 20. Like I literally had a moment where like people just messaged me like, "Hey Casper, I'm not getting results because like this doesn't work." And I'm like, fucking hell, man, like I'm selling something for 12 grand or sometimes for 40 grand. That doesn't work.
Yeah.
No,
I know.
like I'm not that type of person.
Yeah, I
And
know
I
that.
just told
It's the worst
yeah.
feeling ever.
And
And at that point,
here's
I'm
the
like,
thing.
you know what? Fuck that. I'm not working here. I literally packed my bags. I'm like, I'm gonna look for something else. And the reason why I also work with Jeremy right now is because I truly do believe the product. It's not like I would say believing in the product, there's like two meanings to this. Like one, my meaning is that I believe it works, I believe it helps. Two, I'm not like super orthodox person because I hate those fucking people. But for example, people join like, programs like let's say NAPQ and they say, this is the only program that works. I'm like, no man, like, there are other programs that are good, equally good. Like, I do believe, for example, NAPQ and Objection Box, I do believe both are good. I do like people are getting good results from both. Why should I choose which one is the best go-to program? Like, Sam went through the Objection Box. Like I know how he sells. He's like I do consider him a really great guy. Sean went. I mean, you all guys do in the
Yeah,
Objection
we all
Box.
do.
Like Sam, I didn't have.
You're the only NEPQ
Yeah.
here, Casper.
Yeah, but that's why. Like, it's just like we look at it from a totally different perspective. It's just another experience that you gain.
Well, like everything is going to work, right? Because look, you'll have good stuff from the Objection Box, you'll have good stuff from NEPQ, you'll have good stuff from this thing over here, and the more experience you get, you can take, okay, I'll take this from NEPQ, this from here, then you just mold it into something that eventually works for you, and you've got the best process, what you're looking for.
Yeah,
It's like if you just say,
others.
if you just say that's it, I'm just through Objection Box, then like you're going to miss out on all the gold over here, or like that,
Dude, 100%. Like, and one of the things that helped me with having that mindset is like selling in the AI company. Like the SaaS sales process is so fucking different that when I don't have problems with selling coaching whatsoever. Like if I believe the product, I know it's good, I can sell it. With SaaS, totally different story because it changes the whole business. Like 5 decision makers, you speak with super high level like accounting companies from accounting firms from like US making 200 grand a month. You're not gonna sell them something for like 15 grand and say like, hey, it's gonna work. Like there's, like first there's bookkeeping, there's like you need to do a proposal to show them how much money it's gonna make. Those are super number driven people. It's a totally different process. And now I know, okay, I'm good with coaching, I'm going with that. Now I need to focus on selling to people that are just more sophisticated, that like are actually running a serious business. Because like, let's be honest, a lot of coaching businesses are not fucking
I
serious.
knew you were gonna
Like this
say
is
it.
just like, yeah, bro, like
Yeah.
literally, I like the way I see it is coaching businesses are like a teenager. Like it's doing something good in a few directions, but it's still a child. And like accounting businesses, or like businesses that are, for example, consulting businesses that are like 10 years old or 15 years old or whatever, like those are adults. They already know what they are doing, in what direction. They already have a good history of well, they already have a good history. Like whenever I see somebody running a company, and I'm shooting myself in the foot here, but I really do believe that a 22-year-old running a company making 100 grand a month, literally what I have at the back of my head is like, enjoy, man, while you're still making 100 grand. You're gonna fall out, or you're gonna fall off real fucking quick if you're not gonna get serious.
Yeah.
Either FTC is gonna go after you, or you're gonna fucking overpromise, under-deliver, and people are gonna hate you. And it happens. I've seen it happen. I literally was like,
I mean, you
I
can look
literally
at
was
the
speaking with
biggest
Sam.
names.
Like, yeah, I literally spoke with Sam. Like, hey, look at this dude. He's gonna fall off. Like, I'm not gonna name the names, but two guys that I showed him already on the decline. I'm like, well, what did I tell you? So pretty
Yeah,
funny to see.
I would say just to piggyback to what we were saying about the programs and people falling off. I sometimes feel it's on the closer and it's on the setter setting unrealistic expectations. So like for me, what has honestly been super freeing for me is to set realistic expectations for people, not sell them on the dream, because I'm not there to do it. Can they get fantastic results? Of course they can. But I always want to be more, I would say even underselling the program in a way, and telling them that this is going to be hard work, right? Like, I mean, if they're looking to shift the whole life around in a month or 3 months, like, I mean, that literally
Yeah.
just doesn't happen unless the ticket is just like we're speaking about 50K ish, right? Because I mean, under 10K or under 20K, I don't know a single thing that without luck you're just gonna do it, right? So I always say, like, especially because of the things that we sell, I made a promise to myself to not sell or close a program that you just don't believe in and doesn't have good delivery. And even more for those programs that have good delivery, I always say, listen, guys, you're looking to dedicate yourself to the skill set, you're going to become good at it, then this is the return that you can see. And if you are not going to become good at this, if you don't take it seriously, then nothing's gonna come. Like there's no magic pill. And I feel like sometimes people just kind of set those unrealistic expectations, and people just drop off after a month or two, and they come back, and rightfully so. They come back to you and say, well, I mean, you told me that it's gonna take 1 or 2 months to get to 5K, 10K, whatever the deliverable is, right? The result. And I feel like it's like we're stepping into an age where if you're being realistic, if you're being truthful, because that's how everyone should be. I think it's even funny that we have to have a conversation about ethics in sales. I know, I mean, it's been ongoing for ages, but I feel like these days, especially in the online space, and it comes up every single time we have these calls with with guys like on this podcast. Integrity gets you a long way, because not being ethical, selling trash, it like you get found out very soon. Selling ecom offers, with all due respect to the guys
Yeah.
that sell ecom offers, ecom is a fucking fever dream. If you don't buy like some automation for like 100K, like I don't know what do you want to do? You know?
It's funny that you mention it, because I told you a story about getting my first Rolex. I was scammed actually, because I joined an ecom automation offer for 5 grand. So yeah, but that's, I guess, another story, because it's like another 30 minutes. But for the integrity, like, dude, even if you look at it from a like pure mathematic perspective, if you like, you can choose. You either make 200 grand for 6 months, and you don't have integrity. You're gonna hate yourself later when you grow up. People are gonna hate you as well. You're gonna have a bad name in the industry. You either choose that, or you choose the path that we are going in, and you make 20 grand for the next 10 years of your life, like, let's say, guaranteed. But you're selling everything with integrity. Like, your people are gonna know you. Like for example, I know that Sam has integrity. I know that you guys have integrity, and that's like, for
I
example,
don't know
I
about
can.
the leprechaun.
Yeah,
You
he's
see
a
them on the
weirdo.
rainbow and
Yeah.
Yeah, none of you's getting the gold.
No, but it's like, I can refer you guys, and I know that first you're not gonna fuck up. You're not gonna like paint unrealistic expectations, and later on, like, if I don't speak with any of you in the next 2 years, I'm sure you're gonna do fucking well. I'm sure you're not gonna be like, like Interpol is not gonna post like a wanted letter or something for you, like in the internet.
Interpol is
Um,
only for Poland.
Yeah.
Sam, you're bollocks.
Unboxed.
You're
Yeah.
bollocks.
Yeah.
It's funny because I would just say it's like people are just kind of I don't know what you have to do to just kind of play the short game. Like I don't know what's the strategy with that because it just goes such a long way. And I also
Lifestyle.
wanted to ask you, well, I mean the lifestyle, but like I mean you can fake that lifestyle. Like you see so many people out there on IG on TikTok just fake the lifestyle without having to do it. Like like rob people off. Like I mean we know Iman Gaji, all that stuff. There's a bunch of talk about him and all. I don't know about his program. Every single one of us here came through his program. It's honestly, I think my bar for expectations after his program has been set so low that it's crazy. I
I'm
respect the guy's grind set and all that stuff, but I feel like
Bro, the bar is so low with programs. Like we all went through Emans
Yeah.
and we all went through the same sales program. That's where we all met each other. And like they're both just terrible. Like shit.
Yeah.
So shit.
But with money, I was thinking about that recently, like with people that are playing the short game. There's one movie, I forgot the name now, but I can like drop you it on WhatsApp. It's a movie I watched recently. It's a guy that he was super poor. He was in circus, and he learned some like magic tricks. And the tricks were so amazing that he brought so many people into the circus that later he became an illusionist. And based on a person's appearance, he was guessing what they have in their bag and what they are going through. So literally, when he saw a single mother, he could already guess what she's going through, that that she's got a gun in her bag and all that stuff. And after that, like everybody thought that this guy is like a fucking like a magician, like he's a mind reader, like he's a paranormal guy. So they were paying him like 30 grand or something to speak with their dead relatives. And later on, like he believed himself that he can speak with the dead relatives. He was so good. So I do think that the same thing happens with the people that make a lot of money. Like it's you sell unrealistic expectations and you don't get caught for like 6 months. You make 300 grand and you're like, fuck, I'm invincible. I can sell that shit forever. And then you sell 300, 400, 500. You scale to 1 million. You're driving Raris, Porsches, whatever. And later on, there's one bad review. After one bad review, 10 people drop 10 bad reviews. After that, 100 people, 200 people. Then a YouTube video comes up. CoffeeZilla records about you that you're a fucking scammer, right? FTC goes
and
after
that's
you
how it
because
should
somebody
be.
sues you. Yeah, that's how it should be, but that's how it happens. Like those, I think my camera died, by the way.
It
Yeah.
did.
It
Um,
probably
Yeah.
did.
Yeah,
I was going to say, it's funny. It's funny because it's funny because it's like to an extent, I feel like the only place from now on for the next couple of years is gonna be just like having. Actually, this is a funny thing. What do you feel about people just the offer owners just being super like, oh, we have to get the best setting, we have to get the best clothes and all that stuff, without necessarily working on making sure that the program actually delivers? And the other question I'd like to tie this off with is don't you feel it's also on just like on the closer, like one of the good things about a closer is to define whether someone and sell in a style that people obviously don't have those unrealistic expectations, so so the business itself thrives. Because what I see out there is, I know a bunch of closers. I'm not gonna name them. The reasons and all that stuff up to them. I don't judge. I personally wouldn't be able to fall asleep if I was closing this way. But what I see is that they just close anyone, and the only qualification for them to close on a call is, okay, do you have the money? You have the money, let's just close
Yeah.
you. Like all that fake qualification is essentially just fake. So you drive people, you overpromise, and then the business goes to shit. And the offer owner could even be good, he could be delivering, but he was like, that person that came in was set such unrealistic expectations that no one can actually fulfill on it. You know?
Yeah.
I know it's a long
I think
tangent, but I
it,
hope I can answer it.
yeah, it's a very complex question, but I do think it also like falls under the category of like, you know, like the example that I just gave. Like probably what happened at some point, the guy wanted to have a good offer. He wanted to have a good business, like everybody, or maybe he's just a pure sociopath and he just launched a scary business. But whatever, let's give him benefit of the doubt that he launched a good business. And then he had a person that the delivery sucked for totally, like 100%. And the person didn't say anything. So there was a light bulb moment. Oh, I fucked up. I still keep the money. And the person didn't complain. I'm curious how many people I can do that with. And then it's just like, it went like an avalanche.
Yeah.
But I do think coaching business destabilized like the entire business industry. Like, it's good to promise somebody that you make 10 grand in like 3 months or something. And it's possible, but I do think it comes from both sides. It comes from closer and the business owner that are and the seller that are fucking the business up, because you can look at it from one perspective, that seller is painting unreal expectations, closer as well, and they're closing the person. But secondary, who's managing the seller and closer?
Yeah.
Like if you're a business owner that's respecting himself, that doesn't want that happen, you'd be looking into the DMs, you'd be looking into the closing department, you'd be looking through the call and be like, hey man, no, that can happen. Like this is the last time you did that, and like this is a ultimatum. You paint good expectations and you close people on that, or you're off the team. I would respect the owner. However, that also comes in with paying them more money, just you having less profits. Because guess what? If you're having if you're booking 20 calls per day, then closer has to go through those 20 calls. Seller has to do the job. So you're not gonna go through that as a business owner. So you'd have to hire somebody to manage them. Guess what? That's like 5% or 10%. But like some people are just fucking greedy and they don't want to pay that. They just don't, they want a 80% profit business and they don't give a fuck. I would personally love to have a business where I have like 50% profit or 40% profit or even fucking 30% profit and not having to worry about anything.
Yeah.
You do this, you do delivery, you do management, I pay you both 10%. You do this, you do that. If you need to pay for anything, you need to hire another person. Tell me, we're gonna hire another person. We're gonna pay for him, and we're good. We're golden. I don't give
And
a
I
fuck.
think
I'd rather have for a longer time period a business where I make 30% profit, like 30% of a watermelon, rather than having 80% of a grape and that grape later exploding on me. So
Yeah, it's a pretty good analogy to put it. Because you'd rather have like it for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years than just for like 3 months. And Casper, I'm just conscious of the time because I know we've been on. So I guess, look, I'll wrap it up with one last question. Um, for anyone looking to get into the sales space, how would you recommend them getting in? Would you recommend them starting as a setter, going straight into closing, like from your experience? And I guess we'll leave it there after that.
yeah, seller, always a seller, because um, if you start as a closer, the journey is gonna be more rocky. Like if you already have like experience in HR, speaking with people, like selling people, like you're already like speaking in call center or something, you may have an easier time as a closer.
I'd still recommend though starting as a setter, because that's where first you learn the lingo, second you learn objection handling if you're actually applying the closing techniques and you actually learn how to close, and you're just gonna learn the same thing that closers are learning. And after that, once you're a setter for like 6 months, then just consider switching into a closing role. But don't put all your cards in one basket. Don't be like, okay, I'm gonna drop the setting role, I'm gonna go all in into closing, because that's what's gonna happen is you're not gonna have money after
Mhm.
2 months if you're gonna fail. You're gonna put yourself in a tough position, and when you're gonna be desperate and stressed, you're not gonna be closing in a good way. So yeah,
Makes sense. Makes sense. And I guess just one last question then to follow up on that.
yeah.
Who would you suggest learning setting from, if not yourself? Because I know you mentioned that there's not too many great people out there to learn from. So anyone who might be watching this and wants to get into sales and wants to become a setter, like where would you recommend them go where they're actually not going to be like a Richard Jew where it's like a scam, or that person who can't be named?
There's a
'Cause
lot
that's a
of
tough
people
one.
that there's not
Voldemort.
a lot of people that I know.
Mm.
I would say there's one lady that I've gotten setters from. Like I literally messaged her for setters for English businesses and for Dutch businesses, and this lady. I just dropped her name. Besides her, I don't know in the space anybody that doesn't treat the setting business like a cash cow. Because I do think that teaching people how to become setters and make 5K per month is just like another YouTube automation business where you just see a trend, you hop on it, and you don't care about the delivery. And when people fail, you're like, oh, it's your fault that you failed because you're not working hard enough. Like Daphne is really one of those people that I respect in the space. And I don't think I know anybody else that could help with that. But one really important thing that I think I need to stress out when you're joining a closing program or a setting program and you're working a 9 to 5, please, for the sake of God, don't drop out your 9 to 5. Please, literally,
Yeah.
just fucking like save your money, join the closing program or setting program. Tell the business owner that you're working with that you're gonna work not 8 hours 5 days a week but 6, like literally just get 3.5 of how's that called
3/4.
no, like let me just Google the word because I'm stupid. It's not in English.
Sure, English isn't your
Sparta?
first language.
And etat, chodzi mi o etat.
Yeah, full time.
Yeah,
Sales.
it's
Part-time?
full-time. Like
Full-time
full-time is
job.
like 8 hours. What's called 6 hours?
Part-time.
Whatever, just tell your business owner you're gonna work a bit less and learn closing setting in the meantime. And then when you are slowly making with closing or setting the same amount of money that you're making with your current job, consider dropping out. Like,
Yeah.
don't be stupid about it, because you're gonna put yourself in a bad position. You're gonna run out of your savings, and guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna go to the previous business owner that you dropped out of, and you're gonna ask him for the job back. So be realistic about it. Like my journey, like you guys know that I'm like one of the best sellers in the space. For me to make money, it took me 6 months. Like
Mhm.
any money. I'm not saying fucking 2 grand, 3 grand. It took me 6 months to make like $500.
I mean, every
So
single one of us in this space has been rocky, right? Like, I mean, I had it pretty good because I joined a B2B offer, so I had a lot of business experience already. But I mean, it still was like if I tried to go full time, if I had a job and I didn't have anything else, it just wouldn't be feasible, wouldn't be possible. So I think like give it like a couple of months. I mean, you can look at Sam. Like Sam has been recently crushing it. But I mean, it took him a year and literally like the best trainers out there. Like it's not a like everyone says like sales is so easy and you can jump in and make a lot of money. Fuck no. Like I mean, if you just outright scam people, which then all the best of luck to you. But we'll probably see you in an article or something. But like it genuinely takes a lot of time and dedication and skill set to actually perform well in this industry. So
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah, like,
and it's not gonna be
definitely
all rainbows.
Yeah. Hell no. Yeah.
you gotta
And
eat shit too.
Yeah, and I
To eat the
like I
chocolate.
like how
Literally.
Catspur stresses to start with setting, because after my experience, I highly recommended that as well. I wish that's how I started.
Yeah.
I went straight into closing, and as a result, it took me a year compared to 6 months to start getting something finally.
Yeah, same here. Because I
Yeah.
think even if I went straight into closing, but I still think my setting skills are pretty poor compared to a decent setter because I have no experience. So yeah, Casper, I'll have to get you to coach me, bro.
Yeah. What I can do for the video, if somebody is gonna go like went through the entire video, I'm gonna drop you some of the systems that they build out that they usually sell for like $5,000. So you can put it in the description, just like a present. Maybe you can learn from it as well.
Maybe that's if they go through the full video now. They don't go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see who
Yeah.
sticks around.
Maybe
But-
someone can reach out to you or something. I'm sure they can find you on Instagram, they can find you on Facebook. Maybe if they go through enough,
Sure,
not
we'll
only
get
make a
we'll,
connection, but yeah.
we'll get Sam to plug his socials in the DM. And I mean, look, if anyone wants to go and learn from Casper, he's one of the best. Go to Casper.
Yeah. First the
Easy.
people that are gonna reach out, I'm gonna coach for free. Let's do it that way. Let's promote your podcast, guy.
Hell yeah, easy stuff then. Yeah,
Fair enough.
Yeah.
but Kacper, I think we'll wrap it up here. We've been a bit over the hour, a bit. Thank you for hopping on. I appreciate you dropping the gems. And one thing I love to kind of notice is like it's interesting that the guys that are killing it. It's like you'd think we would be only maybe it's kind of the people that we attract ourselves into our circle as well. But it's all about skills, it's all about integrity, all about actually solving people's issues rather than just kind of shove people down, products and whatever, just kind of like a used car salesman. So love it. I mean, I
Yeah.
already knew it, but
Yeah, appreciate you jumping on, Casper. Lots of value for me on my end. It was a great podcast.
damn right.
And
Yeah. Thank you for inviting me, guys.
that's
Thank you for
episode
inviting me.
14, guys.
It was a pleasure. We'll have to have you on
See you
again.
later. Bye.